Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, the big and furry bovine. Hey, look who's joining me. I told you it was his time of the year, man. It's Derek Frisbee. How you doing, Derek?
I'm doing well. Like I told you before we joined, super busy. I apologize for not being able to be on as much.
Well, we always appreciate extra voices, especially this time of the year where things become rather frantic and frenetic before things get really dull again. And then, of course, the draft where it all picks up all over again. There
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay, I don't know what just happened. Something happened. Anyway, good now.
A lot of stuff going on, and I'm going to just let you start with this. What stood out for you today as a Cleveland Browns fan?
Well, it was kind of interesting because a lot of the times the opening to free agency kicks off and you see a lot of deals happening quick, and it was very slow all day. The Browns brought back Ethan Poshik, brought back Sione Takitaki. I like both of those moves. I think Taki will be a lot better under Jim Schwartz. And then we signed, I can't pronounce his last name, but Obo.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. Agbo Okoronkwo. I can't. I'm not even going to try it. Yeah. He's Nigerian. All right.
Yeah.
And
I saw a hilarious tweet. Somebody said, I can't wait for Jim Donovan to have to pronounce his name and then JOK.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this like tongue twister city. The thing it's weird about this, they got our guy, we got their guy. I mean, they took Chase Winovich off the board, the Texans, and that's who they went with, and we got the former Texan. I'm just going to call him Ogbo because it's much easier. I did look up a little bit on Ogbo, and unfortunately, he has been injured every other year he's played in the league. So this is a bit troubling as far as I'm concerned. He had 5 sacks last year, and besides that, I haven't even had a chance to get around it. I just wanted to see what we were dealing with here. And really what we were dealing with is that we have a fixed number to play with, I think, because we restructured Deshaun Watson. And there is, there are names that we were interested in, but there's no way we're paying Hargraves that much money. It's just,
hell no.
I mean, nope. So I think Browns fans have to take into account the fact that there are going to be some higher flyer players who are going to make a hell of a lot more money than what the Browns are going to pay out.
Yeah, and that's why this move made a lot of sense. He's kind of an under the radar name. He's not the brand name guy. But if you look at him and Myles Garrett were 3 and 4 last season in pass rush win rate, and that's kind of you hear that, and it's like, okay, is he just strictly a pass rusher? No, if you watch the film on him again when he is healthy, because like you said, he's got major injury concerns and has historically had that, but when he's on the field and healthy, he's about average as a run defender. He's decent setting the edge, but as a pass rusher, he is aggressive, he is physical, he is fast, and he's on a very cheap deal as far as what some of these other guys are going for. So I think this is a good starter move, and I emphasis on starter move.
Well, this is a situational player as it sits right now. We'll see. Now, David Talevsky saying that Adam Schefter has said the Browns offered Hargraves more. Are you hearing the same thing?
I did not hear that. I heard that the Browns wanted to give him a 3-year deal, and the 49ers gave him the 4-year deal. That's what it was. I didn't hear anything about money. And it wouldn't make sense that the Browns would offer him more money. We just don't have that.
And it's very true. I get the impression, Double P, that this is an absolute analytics move. I mean, This is getting Ogbo is a situation where if you look at the number of snaps that he took and the pressures he got on the quarterback, and what Derek is pointing out, his win rate, as far as the line of scrimmage is concerned, this is very typical of what analytics people do. And if you're looking for a situational player, you may not be looking for a frontline guy who's going to carry that many, not that much of a play load because of his injury history, but they're looking at players who can play fast and downhill. The guy's 6'2", he's 253 pounds. So he's like a linebacker. He's like, and this is the kind of player that Jim Schwartz likes. Guys who are fast and guys who are a little lighter, but who he moves them around and runs them at people. And it's all part of that wide nine and beating people on individual levels, forcing the defense into solo blocking rather than chip blocking, just coming at teams from different angles. It's not about blitzing. It's not like a crazy Buddy Ryan kind of thing. It's not that. It's just winning mano a mano, and part of it is just raw desire.
Yeah.
So,
and I like the contract a lot. The 19 mil for 3 year. We've been looking for a guy to pair with Miles, and 3 years isn't a long time. I mean, we know how fast 3 years goes. I mean, look at how quick the last 4 or 5 years have gone. My goodness. But a 3 year up to 22 mil, 19 mil with only 12.5 guaranteed to get a guy opposite of Miles who has the pass rush skills that he has. If he can stay healthy, which is a big if, but it's a risk that I understand why they would take. But they got to make some moves. They've got to get either a CJ Gardner-Johnson who would just tie that secondary together. It's being reported they're in the front running for Draymond Jones, which would be fantastic, but he's going to cost them a pretty penny.
Yeah, that one ain't going to come cheap at all to come back home. I can tell you that.
Yeah, not at all.
And this is the problem, is the Browns have so many holes they need to fill that it's very difficult to put too much money on one source. We're bringing Bronk in here. Hi, Bronk.
Ooh.
Hello. So I wanted to point out that R. Jones is in the chat room, and R. Jones is a great listener, but boy, he went off the deep end at the Cavaliers when they fell behind the Charlotte Hornets. And little Timmy Bartholow wants to say something to you.
Hey, R. Jones, you gotta chill out. You know something? You're gonna have a stroke. My grandpa had a stroke. Actually, he was a swimmer. He had many strokes. That one went over well in the Catskills. You know something, R. Jones? The angrier you get, the worse they play. And what they're doing is they're doing it to you on purpose. I said to my dad, why are they playing like shit tonight? He said, because of R. Jones, he's going to have a stroke.
All right. Well, there you go.
Well, he chased Derek away.
This is what you can do on a boutique podcast. You can just pick out one viewer and just kind of speak directly.
Derek. He's gone. He's not there. I don't see him.
He's back.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, Derek.
It lost connection. I don't know what happened. It's snowing here.
It was like Timmy Bartholow overload, blew up his bandwidth. Oh, those Cavs, though, that Hornets game. Oh, I mean, our bench outbenched their bench, which was amazing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute, Bronk. We got football
tell
here.
Me what happened on this football ship, because I'm obviously on another planet, so I don't know everything that's going on.
Well, before you do, I just want to comment. Thank you. Obviously, R. Jones had 6 union bricklayers listening to last week's show, and that's nice, spreading the word about Moohead Radio. But couldn't have been worse of a bricklayer than Isaac Okoro. He's a formidable union bricklayer of the kind of which
Jeez.
He's a proper mason when it comes to bricklaying.
no secret handshakes. He just can't fucking shoot. Yeah. God damn. It's like, you know what it's like? It's a lot like the hedgehog.
What's it like?
The porn guy, hedgehog.
Oh, yeah.
Ron Jeremy.
Ron
He can't
Jeremy.
shoot either. Not anymore.
Yeah, he's
All
not
right.
allowed.
All right, so what we're talking about is the Browns are going to try to piecemeal this thing together, but maybe there is some insight from Jim Schwartz about a player like this that he's aware of, the Ogbo, and would fit into the scheme. We're going to find out because we definitely, and we haven't even begun to address the inside defensive tackle. As far as, all of that, we haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
So this Deshaun Watson restructuring, how much actual money does it mean in terms of players? Are we going to only be able to get like one player or two players? I mean, tell me.
No, this is big.
Yeah, well, they said $36 million. I've heard from other sources that it really is only $20 million. And you know how this is going to go. This is really this is the kind of thing where it's figures, and I don't know anything about cap salaries or how to manage this stuff. There always seems like there's a little more than what you thought you had, but there was $36 million that they shaved and saved on the Deshaun Watson contract. Not that he's not getting paid, but in the structure of it, of when he's getting paid the money.
They were over the cap, so if they're under the cap, it's going to be less than $36 million, isn't it? Unless
you're asking the wrong guy. This is funky
You know
math,
nothing
man.
about birthing no babies, do you?
That's exactly right. Derek, I mean, what do you hear? I hear they could make a few moves with the money they freed up.
Yeah, I mean, it clears up. Obviously, that entire number isn't the set number that it's going to be. But, I mean, Andrew Berry every single year has structured all this shit so it lines up that it spreads out perfectly. And that's kind of essentially what it means is Deshaun is going to get, obviously, more money up front in the signing bonus, and that's going to free up cap long term. So anybody we sign is most likely going to be a kick the can down the road kind of guy.
Yeah.
As far as like the big name goes. If the Browns go out and they get a Draymond Jones or a CJ Gardner-Johnson or Dalvin Tomlinson, whoever, you're going to see a decent number, but that number isn't necessarily what you're actually looking at. You're more so looking at, hey, couple million in the first 1 to 2 years, and then 3 and 4 is the chunks of it. Is how it, and they're going to do this every year. They're going to restructure Watson every single year, and that's going to free up money. It doesn't mean they're not going to pay him. It's just how they pay him.
So it's a bit like Congress raising the debt ceiling every year, at some magical deadline.
Yeah, that Silicon Valley Bank. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh, yeah. How's your portfolio today?
Well, no, I'm not involved in that. I mean, that's all startup money, and God only knows. Now, all the Browns fans were saying, "Oh, we're going to get Jesse Bates." Of course not. That's
Master
not what.
Bates, more likely.
They always tease names in the press, but you can't believe, because they'll basically, I mean, they're talking about fucking OBJ. They're not talking about fucking him. I'm saying that was an expression. They're talking about OBJ, and it's like, what an interesting target he would be, especially if it was on his back.
Oh.
No, there's no validity to this. This is just to get a rise out of Cleveland fans. No,
we're not, Double P.
No, I'm not. And this guy's a clown. No, that would be a more emphatic Topaz no. No, no. Like I'm never going to watch again.
Rain, man, I ain't going out in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. It's like turn the fucking shower off. I'm not taking a bath. No, then there's the cautious no. Which means maybe he would be willing to change his mind. No, OBJ is, thank God, long gone. He's a lousy team player, and he's just one cut away from just doing it again. And let him just ride into the sunset and be done with him.
Look, the biggest problem is the team player shit, because he has never, ever, ever been a team player anywhere he's been. Not Los Angeles, not Cleveland, and not the Giants, and probably not LSU. I don't really know that much about back then, but no. God,
well,
no.
I mean, it's not even worth eating up boutique podcast time. Let's put it that way.
Let alone cap space.
Yeah, I was glad to see that Sam Darnold's still in the league, heading to San Francisco.
Mr. Forehead.
Yep. Yeah, he's heading to San Francisco. Are you going to San Francisco? Yep, he's going.
Wow.
Yeah, Double P, that's exactly right. I mean, you can't pay attention to Mary Kay Cabbage Head. You just can't. It's a waste of time. But I think Posick, Derek, is a good thing, don't you?
Oh,
Here,
yeah,
hold on. Give me a minute. I got people in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just jump back in, but he's working, folks.
He's got young, cool people around him. He doesn't want to be embarrassed.
Not by old guys like us. So, young whippersnapper, what do you think?
It's like, they're grooming you, Derek. Get away. Run away.
But Ethan Posick played really, really well last year. And, Harris is... Yeah, and Harris is not... a guaranteed thing. You never know coming off of that kind of injury. So, and you have to have an anchor at center in the line, somebody who is a veteran force. You just can't. It's really tough. A guy like Nick Harris, being a first year player and then taking one snap and going, my knee,
Yeah, but that's we have a long history of that, like with Charles Bentley and all these guys that get hurt on
Charles
your buddy.
My knee.
My knees.
I never had a knee problem until I came to Cleveland. Yeah.
No, I got strep problem. Oh my God.
Oh God. But I mean, there's some teams. I mean, like the Bears gave Tremaine Edmonds, a linebacker, 4 years, $72 million. I mean,
when guys I've never heard of are getting $80 million for 4 years, man, I need to watch a different sport.
And the defensive backfield of the Cincinnati Bengals is saying, well, we can leave because, hey, you got no problems. You've got Joe Burrow. Yeah, you've got him. So, Von Bell is leaving the Bengals to go to the Panthers. And it wasn't just for the money, though.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to the Panthers. Let's face it, nobody comes to Cleveland either.
He wanted to play for a winner, Von Bell. That's why he went with the Panthers.
And how's this for loyalty? Chiefs tackle Andrew Wiley signed with the Commanders, reuniting with offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, who's now with Daniel Snyder. I mean, there's no justice in the world.
Pray for Eric.
And get this, everybody's going to Houston. Chase Winovich and Case Keenum.
Wow.
Case Keenum's going to be in Houston, and that's got to be exciting for all the fans who said, wasn't Deshaun Watson our quarterback not that long ago? It's like, what in the hell's happened?
I'm back for like 10 seconds, but I just want to say, Posick was a great I think Taki and Posick are both great re-signings because Nick Harris, who knows? Yeah. Who knows what he is? And you got a guy who you got for pennies who played as one of the greatest centers in the league last year. So, I mean, that's a no-brainer to me.
Well, it's interesting. Double B's commenting about Wyatt Teller. And, Wyatt Teller is going to be really good in space, but the problem is you have to get the rocket first to shoot him there. No, I'm joking. He's really good in space, but you have to have some balance in the passing game. And to be honest, the Cleveland Browns have done nothing for their receiving core. And, you know, my feeling is that teams just crowding the box made it more difficult for all of our offensive linemen to do a job. So I wouldn't just pick that one guy, you know.
Yeah, how about that? The reports all offseason, the Browns want to pass more. Okay, who are you going to pass to?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's a problem. Cam Sutton leaving the Steelers to sign with Detroit. I'm not sure. Which city is worse, Pittsburgh or Detroit? I don't mean for football. I lived in Flint, and you know, Flint was really an interesting place, and I have really great memories there, and I've met some wonderful people that I still love today. But you know, when you went into the inner city of Flint, it was really tough. But it was nothing compared to, hey, you know, I'm a Jewish guy. Let's go to Dearborn and see if they fucking blow me up. Goddamn Arab. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that.
You can't say that.
I can't say that, can I? The goddamn Arabs down there in Dearborn, I mean, they had mosques. And, you know, we had masks on Halloween. They had mosques. And I couldn't go near there, man. There were too many trees in the neighborhood, and I just didn't like the potential connection there. But Detroit, wow.
Hey, all I'm going to say is Pittsburgh has a lot of bridges for a reason.
Suicide?
You don't want to go swimming in the don't swim in the river now, anyway.
I was going to say swimming in the Monongahela. That would be interesting. You know, you would swear that Christ came from Pittsburgh because he could walk on the water, you know?
Yeah.
Goodness. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
The other guy that allegedly we were targeting, according to Mary Kay Cabbagehead, David Onyemata signed with the Falcons. The Falcons are doing a lot early on. And yes, David, the Ravens have lost a couple people for sure. You know, and I'll let you choose, Rick. You know, if somebody said you got to put down roots in one place for the rest of your life, either Pittsburgh or Detroit,
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, the Ravens lost guard Ben Powers as well. So that's one of the big news items, Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Raiders. And, you know, I don't know exactly. And Lamar Jackson's going to be in the ATL. How about that? I mean, I'm wondering what's going to happen with that.
Wow.
Man, I would love to see that move in a direction other than Baltimore.
Who's going to give an offer to Lamar Jackson that Baltimore can match? And then you still have, and even if they don't match it, you still have to eat 2 first-round picks. Who's going to do that?
Well, I mean, I think somebody, you know, I think the Texans were probably saying, you know, with all the hotel rooms we got Deshaun, we don't have any problems about, you know, who in the hell's going to take him away from us? You know, that kind of thing.
Who's Topaz?
Topaz is beside me here.
Yeah.
He's always at my side. The Dolphins are getting Mike White as the backup quarterback. You know, it's kind of like Tua gets that 5th year, but right behind is Mike White to come off the bench. I think they're anticipating, you know, who am I? My head hurts, you know, kind of thing. With Tua. Let me see. And Calais Campbell has been released.
Wow.
But they're saying it's very possible he could end up back with the Ravens. So
do this song. Please release
me, let me go. Wait. Yeah. Release me and never let me go. You know, I tell a story, and every time that song comes up, This is a true story, and I swear to God,
You swear to God.
I'm not making this up.
All right. I believe you. I believe you.
All right. I met this really fabulous girl in Canton, Ohio when I was a young man. Oh, she was really beautiful. She was from New Philadelphia. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And she was so pretty. And I met her. We all went out with I went out with a bunch of guys, and there were a bunch of girls there, and she was one of them. And I don't know, we just hit it off, and it was really kind of nice. Oh, she was just beautiful. And she and I just kind of dated. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that it was, anything ultimately serious. Well, at least it didn't end up that way. She, when we were talking one day after, other things had happened in the past, she took out a picture, and it was a picture of Engelbert Humperdinck.
Really?
Yeah. The problem was she was in bed with him.
Wow.
Now, honest to God, Engelbert, I mean, it's
Engelbert.
like, I was like a 22, 23-year-old guy, and I could not compete with Engelbert Humperdinck, but it was so bizarre. I'm saying, and then Photoshop didn't exist at that time, and she's in Engelbert's bed. She goes, I go to all of his concerts, and I follow him all over. And I'm like, you're an Engelbert groupie? And she goes, well, you shouldn't put it that way. I said, well, that... And then I, stopped and said, well, I don't know what to say. And that's when I started, please release me, let me go. And she goes, stop doing that. And I said, so I sing you to sleep after the loving. It's like, and she left.
Not a lot of people know this, but he is from the Midlands in England, from Leicester, England. Getting an American to pronounce that one. And that's obviously not his real name. His real name is Arnold Dorsey, as in John Dorsey or Bobby Dorsey. Yeah. So, yeah, that's all a front, that Engelbert Humperdinck shit. He was from England. He was mysterious a Latin or something.
Yeah, they tried to sell him any way they could, and it's so funny that Rick May brings up Todd Jones.
Tom Jones, yes.
I mean,
Todd
if
Jones.
you were a top line groupie, you were with Tom Jones. But if you sunk down, I mean, Engelbert was doing shows in West Virginia. I mean,
He was. Yeah.
please. I mean,
he's still alive though. Probably only just. But yeah. If we get the Black Cow of Death, that would probably finish him off.
Stole my girlfriend. But no, he didn't really steal her. He had her first. And you know something? No wonder I could not satisfy this woman, because she had been with Engelbert.
Exactly. You know what I thought the punchline was going to be? Because she was from New Philadelphia, I thought she was going to be Amish. But anyway.
No. No, that wouldn't have happened. Oh, God. Yeah, so that's my Engelbert Humperdinck story. The Chargers are interested in John Johnson III. Let me see what else. The Bucks are showing interest in not only Baker Mayfield. I mean, that would be perfect for Baker. It's like,
he needs to come to Tampa.
Yeah, it's like, oh, by the way, you know what that would be like?
What would that
would
be like?
be like a Broadway show, all right, where it was like the guy who played. Well, I don't want to go too old on people.
Yep.
But Zero Mostel played Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof. Okay, we'll use that as an example.
Yep.
Can you imagine being the poor son of a bitch who had to take over the role after its Broadway run? I mean, could you imagine following Tom Brady into Tampa?
There you go.
That would be perfect for Baker, and it's like, he can't afford the fucking rent in that stadium. He'd have to move back into Progressive Field,
What the Wayne stats say about Tom Brady being in Tampa?
No, well, I mean, or Baker Mayfield being there?
Baker Mayfield, yeah.
Well, get ready for a bunch of interceptions and batted passes at the line of scrimmage, folks. He's coming to town.
But, they're not only interested in Baker Mayfield, they're interested in Jacoby Brissett, too.
Well,
Man, we don't have a fucking quarterback, do we?
wow, that'd be interesting to see because I don't think Baker could beat out Jacoby, in a totally neutral competition.
Just remember, if you're a frustrated Browns fan, you could be the Broncos. Okay, you could be a Bronco fan.
No,
I mean, it's like Russell Wilson just literally dissipates before the Mile High fans, right? I mean, he just totally eviscerated in the high, so thin air,
Yep.
And people are wondering, I mean, did he age overnight or, but there's help on its way because Jarrett Stidham just signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Broncos. It's like, no. Oh, goodness gracious. Some fans are never going to be happy fans. And of course, the Browns did re-sign cornerback AJ Green to a 1-year deal. That was the one that Mary Kay Cabot actually got right. Let me see. Former Brown Tashawn Gibson staying in San Francisco. I'm just looking for, and that's really, the Dolphins got Jalen Ramsey. All right. So that pretty well puts us up to date. And
have you, sorry, I'm finally back. I had a bunch of kids come in here. That's why I had to mute. Have you talked about the Bears trade?
No, that's why you're here.
Hey.
What, to provide information? Oh my God.
That was one of the most lopsided trades I have ever seen in my life. To get everything that they got. They got number 9, 2 second-round picks, I think a first next year. DJ Moore.
Who is the logical number 1? Who's the quarterback? Who's the savior in the bunch?
That's the best part. Well, first of all, the Panthers had one weapon because they traded Christian McCaffrey during the season last year, which not a terrible trade because he's been injury prone, so I understand. But the weapon your rookie quarterback would have, DJ Moore, you just traded.
That's right.
So what the hell do you have for him to work with is the funniest thing. And second of all, I don't think they're trading up for either of the top guys. I think they're going to take Anthony Richardson. I think they're going to take Richardson number 1 because he plays I don't even know how to describe him. I mean, the Panthers are obsessed with Cam Newton. They are living in their glory days with Cam Newton. And I'm telling you, just gut feeling, they fall in love with him because he's got a big arm, he's a big frame, and he's fast. He's a good player, but for fuck's sake, man, to trade all of that, I mean, the Bears just robbed them. The Bears had nothing, and all of a sudden they now get all these picks and a number 1 receiver. I mean, good for Justin Fields. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, they found their quarterback in their minds. Justin Fields is a guy, and that's great. They're filling in a roster around him. I can't explain why. I mean, there is no quarterback who would be worth that haul. But I mean, I don't know. But the pressure to get quarterbacks, it does funny things to people.
Well, there's no future Hall of Famer out there in this draft list. There's usually 1 or 2 guys who you could just say, yep, they're definitely going to be an all-pro. But, I don't know whether there really is this year.
Well, I love Stroud, but look at what he's had to throw. He's got the best receiver in college football for the last, 2, 3 years? 2, 3 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just one player. I mean, you obviously know I'm a Buckeye, but I'm not being biased when I say we have the best receiver core. So you're going to draft him to a team that has shit for receivers?
So it would be, and one who they question his ability to run in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if you don't have receivers, what else is he supposed to do? You saw what Justin Fields was, and Justin Fields is fast and he's elusive. But my God, that when he first got to Chicago, it was horrible.
It was murder.
I mean, and that's the way somebody gets hurt and confidence gets lost. It's pretty amazing.
The Panthers don't have a great O-line, so it's not like he's got that either.
Yeah, it's I wanted to throw one story in before I talk about the Cavaliers, because I do want to talk about the Cavaliers. Trevor Bauer is finalizing a 1-year contract to play in Japan.
Oh, he's big out there.
Turning Japanese. I think he's turning Japanese. I really think so. I mean, I don't know. I can see the first woman he scores with in Japan. Like, I can't believe. Okay. Thank you. Do you believe Bauer is 32 already?
Yeah, that's he's old.
Just amazing how time flies. And all he can do is play in Japan. I don't know. But I thought that was
maybe
deserving.
He'll do Ginsu knife adverts.
Something. I have no idea. I mean, he's gonna go the Tom Selleck route,
Yeah.
Mr. Baseball. All right. As far as the Cavaliers are concerned, boy, yesterday could have been a complete clusterfuck.
That was horrific. That was like the worst first quarter skill wise of any game I think I've seen at the NBA level. That was terrible.
Well, the good news for the Cavaliers is that Jared Allen's eye has no structural damage.
Yeah.
So, and what that means is it's not a detached retina, it's not a scratched cornea, the kinds of things that would keep people out for a prolonged period of time.
But he got hit in the head. He got whacked in the head.
He got hit in the eye. He's got, he has bleeding in the eye.
Oh.
So he has bloody eye syndrome. He has a bruise that's underneath here, like in his eye. And he's got swelling. And they're testing out various headgear for him. But no idea when he's going to be back. The good news is that he is not suffering. He said it's very uncomfortable. But he said that his symptoms do not parallel what happened to Darius Garland when he was
he couldn't see.
Yeah,
he couldn't see.
He has vision, but it's going to be muddled at this point. And it's funny that you say this, Double P. I went ballistic when they put Robin Lopez into the game. And if you took your eye off the screen, it was like you were 12 points behind. I mean, I've never seen a deficit run up so fast. And it's like, you got to be imaginative here. And JB Bickerstaff, just not a very imaginative coach. And not only does he not know how to draw an inbounds play, but, it's like you don't have anybody who could even come close to replacing Jared Allen. And Robin Lopez is 38 years old, and he can't play the game anymore. He can't. I mean, when he's down on the offensive end, he gums it all up because he's slow and plodding. Everything that you want to do, which would be to open the court up, he clogs it up. He can't make it from end to end of the floor. He can't get off the floor. He can offer you nothing offensively. And it was just a disaster when he came into the game. And when he put him in a second time, I was beside myself. It was like, we had gotten back into the driver's seat and gotten close. And then right before the half, man, we fell down by 9 points, and it was 7 at the half. But where they put him in the game. And it's like, you can't, and I was all over Twitter saying, get his ass off the floor. I mean, what does it take And for the first time, I suggested about replacing JB Bickerstaff because you can't play with a mental deficit and coach from that perspective. There's too many good players and too many good coaches in the league. And this guy, it's like, and, you know, and I'm yelling when I'm watching this game. You think I'm funny on here. You'd really find me very entertaining watching the games. But my God, I'm just saying out loud, look, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what is it that the Charlotte Hornets can do. And the answer is they can force turnovers and run the opposite direction and run fast breaks. And the other thing that they can do is for periods of time, they can get hot from behind the arc. They came out in the game and they let PJ Richardson shoot at will without even a hand up, and he just drained the first 3 threes that he tried. And then you knew that Terry Rozier would eventually get hot. Whenever he plays the Cavaliers, he gets hot.
He gets like 50 points every single fucking time.
I mean, it's remarkable the games that he's had against Cleveland. So you knew where it was going to come from. But the thing that was really annoying to me is on the offensive end of the floor, if you've got to leave the paint open for 2 reasons. One, if you're going to flash Evan Mobley across and he's playing out of his natural position, so he's not going to be camped out in the corner. He's not going to be in his usual position. He's going to have to be flash across the paint, but he can pass the ball out of a number of positions. You could backdoor Lamar Stevens like they did a couple times. You can run that kind of action. You can't run any of that action with Robin Lopez because he's like a pillar of salt standing there in the middle of the lane. He's like the fucking Jolly Green Giant. It's not good. And, you know, it's like what you need is a defensive, hustling, fast team that pressures the ball. You have to compensate for the loss of the big guy, and you don't do it by putting in a slow old big guy. You look at who their center is, and you're going, you know, that guy is a nondescript center. Let him beat us, you know? Yeah. If that son of a bitch comes on the floor, I don't even, Richards, is that his name? Mark Richards, is that his name? You know, if that guy beats us, I'm satisfied. If he can get that done, that's wonderful. But you got to be able to stop the guys in the perimeter then from either breaking you down and getting into the paint where we don't have our second big protector. But you got to stay in Rozier's face. You got to stay in Richardson's face. You got to, you know, and you can't let, why am I thinking of the former Celtic?
Hayward, Gordon Hayward,
you know, you can't let him get going
God, he
either.
Was killing us in the first half.
Well, I mean,
we made him look like Larry fucking Bird.
He's not even a faint replica of what he used to be since he injured his leg. So, you know, I'm watching this and saying speed. All right. The problem with the Cavaliers is that you can't put Jetty Osman on the floor because he won't give you the defensive help that you need. And they tried to put him on the floor and he just threw up a bunch of air balls and God knows what else. And he's just a Ritalin child and he's worthless. All right. You have no help coming off the bench. That's what Dylan Windler was supposed to be. He's never going to play again. And what do you have? Thank God. And God, this will show you.
Lamar Stevens, you're going to say thank God for.
No. I'm going to say, actually, thank God for Karis LeVert.
Yeah, LeVert had a pretty good game the other day.
Well, I mean, at least
for LeVert,
he could break somebody down off the dribble. He can pass. He's making an effort to dish off to teammates. He's not taking so many wild, hairy, 2-point shots.
Yeah,
that have no
impossible 2-point shots in the paint that don't even hit the rim.
He's forcing his way into the basket and drawing fouls. He's trying to play good defense on the defensive side. And when you're playing a team like the Charlotte Hornets, you've got to pressure the ball. and you got to push their offense all the way back to half court. And you started seeing two things happen. One, once Robin Lopez was out of the equation, and we went with the, even with Okoro, who won't shoot the ball, is afraid to shoot the ball, or whatever the hell it is. But he's athletic and he's fast. And, we were running up fouls. We had 3 guys with 5 fouls by the end of that game. And thank God that Mobley didn't foul out, because he was one of them. Lamar Stevens is a guy who will play tough, rugged basketball, but he'll pressure the ball. They started turning the ball over. The other thing is the back-to-back that they were playing was a break your back-to-back.
Yeah, they were on a back-to-back, and we weren't. Yeah.
But it wasn't just an ordinary back-to-back. They played from 7 o'clock. They didn't get back home. No, it wasn't one of those even. The game ended at 9:30. You got a shower. You did, you're back home by 11 midnight, and you got to come back. And the next day, you've got to play at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And plus, the clocks were moved forward.
Yep.
The day before that Sunday game.
Absolutely. So it was a nice early game for me.
That's about the fastest turnaround I've ever seen for an NBA team. And in the fourth quarter, when we outscored them, it was something like 34-16 or something, 33-16, something crazy. Like that. And they just lost their legs. They just looked like they were in slow-mo.
Well, I think they're going to make adjustments and beat us tomorrow. I mean, I'm not looking forward to this game.
Well, I'll tell you something. We got away with more than just a little bit because, Spida did not have a good game. Donovan Mitchell.
He missed a lot.
Yep. And that ain't going to happen twice in a row. But when it counted down the stretch, and this is one of the things, you can't drive into the basket with Robin Lopez standing there. All right. Yeah. He just draws everybody to him. What Donovan could not make a 3-point shot to save his soul. In fact, neither could Darius Garland. The Cavaliers in general just could not shoot the basketball from behind the arc. They were going to have to win that game with defense and 2-point shooting and with guards penetrating. And at the end of the game, when we caught them, and it could have gone one way or the other, it was Donovan Mitchell who on successive back-to-back-to-back possessions got the ball into the paint and scored the basketball. And that's why you pay him the big bucks. That's why he's your superstar. That's what he does. And I will answer this really seriously, Double P, because I know that you're laughing your ass off asking a question like this. I don't think Jetty Osman, if he's not shooting the basketball and if he's not hot Jetty, then he's just a complete detriment to the team. We're playing 8-man rotation. We just don't have anything right now. Yeah. And it's going to be really, really difficult. As far as, my feeling about the game tomorrow is at least we will be rested and, it all starts all over again. And I don't think that Darius Garland is going to be 2 for 10 from the 3-point line, or that Donovan Mitchell is only going to make 1 3-point shot for the entire game. I have to believe that the Cavaliers will be shooting better than they did. And I think also they will understand that they have to defensively attack this team in a way that pressures the ball, because they don't have weapons down low.
Yeah, they don't have an offense. Their only offense is in transition, it seemed like. Whenever you put them in half-court offense, they didn't know what to fucking do, these guys. I mean, they were struggling. Yeah.
It was a challenge, to say the least. You get away with a win. And the reason that's so important, I mean, take a look at what happened out west. I mean, the Knicks beat the Lakers. And, the Knicks had lost 3 in a row, but they came back with a big win. And the Nets beat Denver in Denver.
Wow.
Now that I just cannot believe. So we are in a battle with the city of New York, which never bodes well when New York is your enemy and it's two teams from the biggest market, right?
Yeah.
And then there's Cleveland. You know, Cleveland had better win some of these road games or else they're going to get bypassed. And, you know, we're still in good position to be in the top 6, but we want the 4th. We want the number 4 for the home court advantage. And, you know, I still think Thibodeau is going to run the wheels off of the Knicks team, and the players are going to be exhausted by the time they make it into the playoffs. I don't care if they're 4 or we're 4, or if we're 5 or they're 5. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference. I think we can beat the Knicks. I'm not that worried about that. What I'm worried more about, and I was worried about the Heat, but the Heat has really fallen behind. They just haven't been able to get any offense out of that team whatsoever. And I just refuse to believe that, you know, you look at what the Nets are doing and the guys they got for Durant, who's probably never going to play again because, you know, his ankle joint is like Stretch Armstrong. They got some players. Mikal Bridges is just going ballistic in New York, really doing a big job for them, and they're getting all kinds of productivity from people and playing really hard. And you just that team is an unknown commodity, but what a story. You know, it's like it goes against all grains of thought that Kevin Durant could leave and that Ben Simmons can't play because he's mentally deranged and he's injured, and they are getting better without him.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
I don't know, man. I don't know. We just got to win at least one of the next coming games. You know, you got Charlotte, and then you got the Sixers at home, which is the Sixers game is on BBC TV. Can you believe that? It's actually going to be on the BBC, the Cavs and the Sixers, Wednesday evening, Wednesday night.
You know, one of the things here, you know, watching Miami, and Jimmy Butler is doing everything that he can humanly do.
Oh, I mean, that game was annoying, too. We should have won that game the other night against. We should have won that one. We fucked that one up.
Absolutely. But I mean, you know, I look at the whole thing and I say, it takes more than one guy. And what's going to kill the Cavaliers is that their bench we have no bench. And that's what kills. Looking at yesterday's game, I mean, Mobley playing out of position had an 18-9 game.
He had a lot of fouls. How many fouls did he have?
Yeah, he had 5 fouls.
Yeah.
You know, you got Lamar Stevens, who scored 9 points. Okoro is a mystery, 28 points, and he only scores 28 minutes, and he scores 5 points, and he only takes 5 shots. Darius Garland, you know, this will tell you everything you need to know. He was 2 for 10 from behind the 3-point line.
Felt like it.
Which was just not him. 8 for 20 overall, but if you take the numbers away, he was 6 for 10 when he penetrated the paint. You look at Donovan Mitchell, he was 0 for 6 from 3.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And Mitchell was one of the guys who had 5 fouls as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, so 0 for 6 from the 3-point line and 10 for 19 overall. I mean, he was literally 10 for 13 when he penetrated inside and just took the 2 and took the ball to the hole.
Yeah, and that's why they had so much transition, you know, Charlotte, because they were getting easy rebounds and they were able to throw long passes and they were scoring buckets on us that we had no hope of defending against.
Robin Lopez played 9 minutes and was a -9 in his time on the floor.
Oh, it seemed longer than 9 minutes, didn't it?
It's like,
he's like the caveman from the Geico advert, you know.
And in 20 minutes, Ricky Rubio gave us 11 valuable points.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he played a steady game. Karis LeVert was 2 for 4 from behind the arc. But I mean, you look at shooting 7 for 27 for three, 25.9%. You know, the next game is going to. The next game is going to play out differently. And
all right.
You look at the 3-point shooting from the Hornets, and they shot 47.6% from 3.
Yeah.
And that isn't going to replicate. And they shot 51.2 for the game. They beat us in every statistical category except the final score.
Yeah.
So I would say that was the game that they were going to win. But what Cleveland proved is without a big man on offense, we could shred their defense and get high percentage 2-point shots. And if we play hard defense, then we can outplay them with our defense and with better percentage shooting. And that opens up a few threes. And believe me, if there's open looks for Garland, I'm not going to tell you that. I mean, Garland's been shooting 43% from behind the arc this year. But Donovan Mitchell is not going to go 0 for 6 from behind the arc.
Okay, so you're saying that was an aberration then? It's an aberration, Moo.
Yeah. That was an aberration there, Moo. Yeah, I was an abortion, not an aberration. All right. Oh, God. So I've said everything I'm going to say. It's time for me to get the hell out of Dodge. But, we're going to be back again on Friday, and there's always more to talk about. We'll see if the Browns are going to make any moves here.
Yeah, I just want to say the Big Lurker UK. Glad to see you here because the time change. We're an hour earlier on Moohead Radio for the next 3 weeks. So hope.
I can't believe how fast it comes. As far as the change. And, it's so funny looking outside at 7:30 and it's still light out here. Everything is moving toward, the pollen count is moving toward. It's been horrible here. And so we're getting into the warmer weather.
Yeah, one minute you got the iguanas falling from the trees. The next minute you got the pollen falling from the trees.
One thing or another. Bronk, thanks for joining me again. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody in the chat room for participating.
Thank God for Derek Frisbee. He's still alive.
Yeah, we love Derek, man. And he said, it's not like I'm ignoring you guys. It's like, I know, man.
He's a young guy. He has to work. So
he's got to work, and he's got other things that he does on the internet. But he, arms wide open whenever he's here because he's part of the great Moohead family. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.